Hi there, I'm outside Harrods, my annual Christmas trip to Harrods. I always love coming here around Christmas, and I've always found it to be so busy that you can't move here, but this year it's very quiet. I know there were reports on the weekend that it was busy here, but today, I mean, it's a Friday, it's 2 weeks to go before Christmas, and it really just looks pretty dead to me. I can't believe it's this quiet, and even the station there, as you can see, that's the entrance to they've got their own entrance from the Knightsbridge station. Look at it, it's dead. There's a few people milling around, but really it's a pale imitation of what it is usually. And I guess Rishi Sunak's tourist tax is not going to help, is it? He is scrapping the duty-free allowances for non-EU tourists, which could be a disaster for jobs and for the prosperity of the whole industry, the whole industry that serves food, drinks, clothing. I mean, around here you've got all the big brands, not just Harrods, but you've got, there's Zara behind us, there's Burberry's just up the road, there's Harvey Nichols, and a lot of these places rely on tourism. This comes as a report says that in some of the airports there was an 80% drop or an 88% drop in air traffic. They're even sort of talking about they've got some of the terminals, like Terminal 4, closed down. So you can see all the shops here. This is Brompton Road. It's quiet, isn't it? It's not busy. Traffic's busy because of the London Mayor's ruination of traffic flow with roadworks and bus lanes and bike lanes going in everywhere without consultation. So that's why there's that traffic there. But you can see here all the taxis are queuing up waiting for customers. There's nobody here. I suppose this is the main frontage of Harrods. It goes back a whole block, you see. That's why there's an old saying, someone's got more front than Harrods. Front meaning more guts, more show than Harrods. If you're cheeky, they say you've got more front than Harrods, you've got more cheek than Harrods, because of the frontage here. Look at the size of it. Lovely window displays here as usual. All the diamonds there. Yeah, it's great to be here. I love coming here. I love the food halls and all of the buzz and atmosphere there. We're in there having some of the food and drinks there. It's great. I'm still walking along Harrods now. Let's have a look at some of these window displays here. Isn't that great? Look at that. Beautiful displays here. What do you think of that? But there are the customers, and I guess tourists are just avoiding trouble. It's so difficult to travel now that 88% drop in air travel is a disaster for the industry. And they predict that this tourist tax that Rishi Sunak wants to bring in, apparently to save 500 million, will cost thousands and thousands of jobs at Heathrow alone. And this is, of course, when you go to a country and you buy goods, you can get the duty back on them when you leave. And this has been a long established practice, hasn't it? Long established practice in many countries. So I'm very surprised at this. It seems like a tax on tourism, really. It's just wrong. I think it's one of the greatest stores in the world. A lot of people say it's expensive, but I don't think it's that much more expensive if you buy the same goods there as you would in another store. But it's just very special. It's been around for hundreds of years. I think it's the greatest store in the world. And Knightsbridge here is one of the most exclusive parts of the UK, if not whole of Europe. Most of it is owned by one guy, one company, the Duke of Westminster. And they're a family property business that's been able to hand their property empire down intact, sometimes tax-free, for centuries, for hundreds and hundreds of years. I think it might even be 1,000 years where they owned this land, and it's incredible what they've achieved. Obviously, to be able to keep the family fortune intact when family fortunes can only last 3 generations in most cases. So, and what it is, he owns the freeholds of much of this area, much of Knightsbridge. So you see all these people in flats there. I don't know if he owns that particular freehold there, but all these flats here would sell for millions and millions of pounds. There are flats in Knightsbridge selling for 30, 40 million, and houses for 50 million, easily. But often they're on long leases, and that they retain the freeholds of these premises, and it's passed down through the ages. So when you grant, a long lease, you might think, well, that's 100 years. You're giving them a lease for 100 years. You'll be dead by then. Yeah, you might be dead in 100 years or 199 years, but your children and grandchildren will be there to inherit that when it comes back to the freeholder, or when the leaseholder decides to pay another couple of £100,000 to extend the lease beyond, because when you get a lease coming down to 40 or 50 years, it can cost, 100, 200, 300,000 to extend the lease. I saw a property for sale in Eaton Square, which is a very exclusive place, and it was on sale for, I think it was £500,000. I thought, oh, that looks cheap, a flat for £500,000 in Eaton Square. I couldn't believe it. And then you look at the lease, and I think it was a 4-year lease or 3 or 4 year lease. It was maybe no more than 5 years anyway. So you're effectively paying £100,000 a year just to be there, and then you would have to extend that lease, and it would probably cost you millions to extend it. So this is how the freeholders have kept their wealth intact, the landed gentry, if you like, and it's been a very good strategy for thousands of years. But it is a bit unfair to leaseholders. A lot of leaseholders get trapped in these leases, which a lot of them are unfair. They have very high charges, management fees, ground rents can be very high. And instead of ground rents going up every 25 years, they're now going up every 10 years and sometimes doubling. So a lot of people recently have been stuck in very unfair leases, but that needs reforming, which the government have never. They've had a leasehold reform act, but it's not gone far enough, and it seems very unfair to most ordinary people. But it's good for the likes of the Duke of Westminster, who of course is worth about 10 billion. He's one of the richest men in the country, and his father recently died quite young. Apparently he was depressed, believe it or not. His father died, the former Duke of Westminster, and I think he died in his 50s. But the money went to the young Duke more or less intact, tax-free, because it was all in trusts. They used trusts in a way that ordinary people can't, because if your wealth is tied up in one house, which might be worth £1 million, you cannot give that away and then still live in it. That's called a gift with reservation. You can't move the asset abroad and avoid these taxes like the wealthy do, the super wealthy. You can't domicile yourself abroad. But anyway, I don't want to spoil the mood here. It's just it's a great day. I'll be in there in a minute, inside Harrods. I think still the greatest store in the world, and I look forward to doing a bit of shopping, a bit of eating in the food hall, and see where we go. I once met David Beckham here in the toilets. That's my claim to fame. He said, "Oh, hello," like that. He said, I said, "Hello, David." He said, "Hello." That was it. Right? That's my conversation with David Beckham in the toilets of Harrods. You heard it first here. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Have a good weekend, everybody. And I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.